Hi guys. I wanted to do a very quick channeled messages before I leave. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you so much for your likes, your shares, your comments, your subscribes, absolutely everything, for your emails. It's just really lovely to hear from you all, to interact with you all, and I just had to come and do one more message before I go off on holiday for a couple of weeks. So I won't be doing any posts for a couple of weeks, so I am going to do this quick channeled message because there have been big shifts for me, and I've got loads of things to pass on to you guys as well right now. And also I want to do another reading as well before I go. So without further ado, let me just read these things. Sorry, I've got to read off my other phone as well. So I wanted to say it's so important, and this is always following, my stuff always follows on from what I said before. So the last message was very much about kind of finishing things up, tying up loose ends and moving on to the next stage. And it's so important to remember right now, especially like those people who are feeling like a little bit, what's the word, like that things are a little bit, the energies are heavy, blah blah blah. And if you feel in any way, shape or form bogged down by anything, held back by anything, please just remember that you know, all of us, we are very much connected to everyone and everything. And the twin flame, that is one connection where it's literally, when you're in this kind of a connection, you can physically see it, you can physically feel it, you physically feel that, you know, your being is not completely just restricted to this one physical form that you have, physical form, this physical body. It's actually expanded from that, and it's like when you've realized that you can actually connect with somebody else in that kind of way, you can connect with everything else in that kind of way as well. And what I've been really made aware of is the fact that those of us who are on the twin flame journey, and also indeed all of us, everything in creation, we're not really apart. We're not really apart at all. It's such a small fraction of the whole of our being that we actually experience as being separate, and so many of us we're actually lost in that. So if you get too lost in it, that's when you feel like bogged down by things. That's when you feel like it's almost like this diversion, and that feeling of kind of, oh yeah, isolation, you're all by yourself, blah blah blah. But then if you can kind of go deeper, if you can kind of refine yourself and elevate your consciousness to a certain degree. Obviously I do it via yoga, and that's what I teach and I will be teaching. It becomes apparent, it increases your perception to a point, not where like, oh yes, I can read cards or anything like that, or I'm psychic. It elevates your perception to such a point where you feel like you are connected with everything. You can actually feel how and that you are in fact connected with everything. You feel so much more empathy for things. You have so much more acceptance and love in an experiential kind of way, and it's really lovely. Anyway, so I'm just sharing a bit of my experience and the fact that this whole separation, this it's almost like a game. It's like you experience yourself because you think that you're separate, but for a lot of people that can cause a lot of pain as well, but it's not necessarily the whole truth. So you know, you just always hold on. If you resonate with what I've just said, just trust that you were never apart from your twin. If you're feeling very separate from them, if you're really missing them, because I know a lot of you are, you're never really apart. And it's very much, this is all happening because it was meant to happen. But it's not for you to just believe me because I'm saying it. It's for you to, you know, find out your own truth, your own way. But all I will say is that we were and are never apart. That's an important thing. And also this life, this is another thing that came to me a while back, and it just gave me so much kind of like, oh my God, yeah, of course, that's kind of true. This life is such a tiny, minuscule little sliver of the whole, of our existence, of our being, of our existence in space and time. Sorry to get all existential. I really am I think I'm gonna do a post on kind of something a bit more related to kind of science one of these days, but we'll see if I can do that, when I can do that, but it is coming. But just Time and space kind of being the same thing. They actually have the same word in Sanskrit, which also is the same word for darkness, which is kal. But this life that we are experiencing right now in our physical bodies is such a tiny sliver of time, and it just seems long because it's all we know. It's in terms of our reference points, this is all we are aware of consciously through our minds, but it's such a tiny, tiny sliver of time, of space, of who you truly are. And that perspective hopefully is enough to give you a little bit of a chance to kind of accept what's happening and accept how other people are towards you as well, and to help you forgive, because it's just not worth it. It's just, you know, life is so short, it's just not worth it, you know, to be too kind of, I guess, negative. I mean, I'm not saying suppress your emotions at all, acknowledge them, but just have that awareness that it's not about wallowing, it's not about holding on to things because of a misplaced and a slightly misguided maybe sense of justice either, and entitlement, because those things don't help us at the end of the day. And I'm really, really getting the justice card has been coming up so much, and the justice card recently for me a while back came up in reverse, and I was just like, oh my god, I was very much one of those people that was just like, hey, this happened, therefore I'm due an apology, I'm due a blah blah blah. This was a few months back, and now I'm just not in that space at all, because I'm like, life is too short. At the end of the day, what is the bottom line? The bottom line is I'm all about the love, you know, and the acceptance, and the fact that, you know, I just really care about my twin flame. I think he's great. And you know, that's the bottom line. And the bottom line is I feel so connected to the guy, and I can feel things that are happening seemingly with him as well. So the more, and I feel that the better it gets, the more loving I am. So I think that that's a very, very, very important message for a lot of you as well. Like, it's just something to think about. Sorry, I'm really not expressing that well today, but I'm trying to say quite a lot in a bit of a rush. So anyway, both the counterparts, both of the people who are representing both of the ends of the spectrum here, this is very much a time for both of them have really, really been putting the past to rest. The things that maybe have shaped their lives in a negative way, things that have had a grip on them because of things that people have said when they were younger, in their more formative years. That can be their teenage years, that can be from a first love, it can be from a first marriage partner, it can be from parents, it can be from brothers and sisters, it can be from step parents, grandparents, whatever. But just people that had a big influence on your formative years. And maybe it wasn't all positive, seemingly, or not what you would choose if you had the choice now. People are choosing differently. They are seeing things for what they are. The light has been shone on them, and those things are being put to rest for good. So it's almost like the past is being put to rest, the karma is being completed, the debts, karmic debts are being paid, and they're left. And it's like a very clean moving on. So there's a real kind of sense of cleaning up loose edges, loose ends, and tying up loose ends, and really kind of, it's like I'm almost being showed like the finish is being done really, really well, so that you can literally forget about it. And it's a real sense of people are freeing themselves to move forward into what is it they truly have chosen to do. And those of you who've been following me for a while will know that I also chat about a couple of other people who I follow. And one person is a lady called Nikki, who does the Divine Love Crystal Grid channel. And she does channeled letters. And I've had a few letters channeled from her. And a couple of days ago, I think it was 2 days ago, it was she read out letter number 183 from her books. And these are channeled from the higher selves of whoever you request to have them channeled from, basically, and she'll channel them and write them down for you. And the first time I ever did this was, I don't know how many years ago, it was a number of years ago, but it was the last time I was in America. And this time I didn't go to America to see my twin, he lives there, and but I was meant to meet him when I was there. And that didn't happen because he got cold feet or whatever, and decided to do a runner. And that was the first time I got a letter from her. And it's really weird because 2 days ago she read out that letter, which was, I think, letter 183. But not only that, she's got 3 books, and 2 of those, the letter 183 from 2 of those books was actually one of my letters. So yeah, the first 2 that she read out. So I was like, oh, that's never happened before. I've never had like 2 letters read out. So, and it just felt like it was a big thing for some reason. Anyway, today she was talking about, was it today or yesterday? She was talking about the cat spirit. Those of you also might know that I have a cat myself, Axel, who is the best thing ever. And anyway, so she was basically saying how the cat spirit, it's all about independence and how we should be independent, and how the Divine Masculine also, I think she was saying, it's all about, I don't know, what I garnered from this message that she was saying was that the Divine Masculine is also independent and has to, you know, you can't force cats to do what you want them to do. It's like they do what they want to do. They let you pet them if, you know, they want to be petted, and they sit on your lap if they want to, and blah, 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 blah. They do things, they're independent, and they do things their way. And, sorry, bear with me one moment. But it was really interesting because cats will kind of, they had another message for me later on, but I'll go into that in a minute. Because I just thought it was interesting how the first letter that I ever requested, which was the last time I was in the US, should come up just before I go to the US again, and something else has happened, so I'll come to that in a moment. Anyway, so I was on the phone to my one of my besties yesterday, and I haven't spoken to her since coming back because I've had a few phone issues. Also, incidentally, anyone who has tried to message me on WhatsApp or anything from, you know, previous clients who might have had sessions or anything with me, if you message me and I haven't got back to you on Skype or on WhatsApp specifically, I probably didn't get the message and probably was not able to respond, basically. So please, if you would like, please just drop me a message again, because I'm back and running on that number. So not on Skype though, because that I need to sort out. Anyway, incidentally, I was on the phone to my bestie yesterday, and because it was the first time that we were chatting since I got back, I was basically, you know, we were chatting about this whole twin flame thing, and I was like, no, I haven't heard from him, and that's absolutely fine. I was, you know, that's great. I don't have any ill will towards him at all. Like, literally, I'm cool with whatever. But I was genuinely saying about how I hadn't heard from him, and then very, very, very unexpectedly, my twin unblocked me on social media this morning. So I was like, oh, okay, that's lovely. You know, that's really, really nice. I'm not expecting anything from it. You know, it's just something that happened. So I was like, oh, okay. I'll, you know, the timing was just very, very strange though, because I literally had this conversation with my friend yesterday, and she's like the only person pretty much that I really speak to about this. And we don't even really speak because there's nothing to speak about, but you know, she was just like, oh, have you heard? And I was like, no. Anyway, the thing is, in the past, whenever he's contacted me, or at least the last couple of times that he's contacted me, and probably every time, I've always had this massive sense of impatience, like, oh my god, this is clearly meant to happen, like, why hasn't it happened yet? I want it to happen yesterday, blah, 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 blah. And I guess it's almost like, not even I think whenever you get that sense of impatience, it's kind of like anxiety, or a very, very slight sense of anxiety in a different disguise. And that just wasn't there this time. It really, really wasn't. It was kind of like, okay, that's just that. And I'm genuinely kind of, even though I have to say again, I'm over the moon to hear from him, I'm still just not expecting anything. It's just a thing. But it's so nice to not have that sense of impatience. Like, I don't know what he's doing, I don't know what he's going to do, and quite frankly, I'm quite happy to really enjoy the fact that he got back in contact with me. I'll celebrate that, and I'll carry on with my life. And that's a really lovely way to be. One thing I did do though, apart from just saying, like, you know, hello, and it's making it clear that I was happy to hear from him, I did tell him the past is water under the bridge. So if at all he's been feeling bad, thinking about things that have happened in the past, that he should really, really stop. And please don't do that, because basically, I didn't go into detail, but randomly I have been, you know, getting on with my day and just feeling these pangs, absolutely, you know, sometimes they can be absolutely heart crushing almost. Like, that sounds like hyperbole, that sounds like really OTT, but you know, it's very, it's very full on, it's quite intense, and I know that it's not mine. You know, the first time that it happened, and the reason I'm talking about this on you know, to you guys here on camera, is because I think that this has happened to me in the past when I couldn't differentiate, when I did not have that ability to distinguish and make the distinction between things that were mine and things that weren't. And also, obviously, with the more yoga that I do, it makes you more perceptive, and the more meditation that I do consistently, it makes you perceptive. And I can feel that when things are projected on me a little bit more clearly. And instead of what happened in the past was I would just run with it. I would literally just not even think about it, not be aware about it. I'd just be like, oh my God, I've been gripped by this this emotion, this feeling, and like it would just kind of, I'd spiral off into a thing. And so many people do that and they don't recognize, they don't realize that they do it. But now the difference is I'm aware of it. So instead of trying to suppress it, which is equally bad because you can't suppress these things, you just acknowledge it and you think, okay, well, you're there. I'll be with it for a little while, and I can also tell that that's not mine. And you know, you just kind of almost breathe through it, and then it goes, it kind of lives its energy, and then it dies, and then it leaves and transmutes, or whatever you want to call it. So I knew that it wasn't mine. I acknowledged it and moved on, and I knew that it was from him. I shouldn't say that I knew that it was from him, but it really felt like, to me, it was from him. So I did say to him, like, look, don't worry about it. And I've been, let's just say, very blunt in the past, and not everyone would want to come back from that. But you know, this is a twin flame journey, and we obviously, we have no choice very often to take certain things. Like, I know that the things that I've experienced, I would not have put up with any of that with anyone else. Like, I would have walked a long time ago, and I think that that's true for many of us on this journey. And that's fine, because it's meant to happen for, well, to me it feels fine anyway, because I'm sure it was meant to happen for whatever reason anyway. And now I'm at a stage where I can deal with it in a very comfortable way, and actually kind of be thankful for it in its own way as well. And I really rate my twin, actually, for going through all of that and to still actually want to connect again and try again, because you know, it's a really great sign. So I really respect that. I don't know, again, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not expecting anything from it. You know, maybe nothing will happen, maybe something will happen, maybe he'll do something completely different. I don't know, and it doesn't actually matter. I'm just enjoying what's there in front of me at the moment, and you know, who knows what will happen with anything, really. But what I'm really also enjoying what's happening right now, and the beautiful synchronicities that are happening, because going back to the cats now, this does all tie in. Yesterday I was struck by something I saw on my Instagram feed, which was a picture that one of my friends who I met on the first yoga teacher training course that I did in Rishikesh in India, which I hated because that was a commercial joke kind of yoga course. Anyway, she draws these very cool, ugly cute pictures, and it's literally, she'll draw like a caricature of a human type creature, but it will be a caricature, and it will be like really exaggerated, and it will be quite ugly, quite grotesque in a way, but still cute. Anyway, the one that she posted, I beg your pardon, the one that she posted was, it was like she drew a caricature of my twin, who's very handsome, especially in my opinion, but it was one of her ugly cute pictures. And these things usually have a speech or thought bubble, and it will be saying something quite random, but quite deep and quite profound, and very raw, something very raw. And it's funny how she should be the one that does these pictures, because literally this girl is gorgeous. She does not realize that she's gorgeous. She really doesn't, and she looks like the bastard child of Liv Tyler and Angelina Jolie. Like, she's absolutely stunning. People ask her to model, blah blah. She really doesn't see it. Like, people, I've seen it, I've done it, I've complimented her, and it's just like, whoosh, She doesn't get it. Anyway, she does these ugly pictures. And this time they're very, very honest, and there's something quite vulnerable about them as well. But anyway, quite bare. It's like these things are very psychological. It's like she really, really, really gets into the psyche really deep, and touches something when she does these very spontaneous and wonderful pictures. So this caricature that looked like my twin was surrounded by 3 cats. 3, and 3 has been another number that's really been coming up a lot in my readings and stuff. And this the cats were all saying something, and the caricature was also saying something. So the main thing was the character was saying, I need love, in the biggest, most capital letters. This was the only speech bubble that was in capitals. And then there was one cat on his head which was saying, I'll love you. And then another one was on the left side of the caricature, so on the right side of the picture, saying, open up and speak honest. And then there was another one which was a little bit lower down on the caricature's right shoulder, but the left of the picture, and that one was saying, love yourself, ... Jeez. And it was just so interesting, because right at the bottom in the big capital letters it was the caricature saying, I need love. And this was before I saw this picture last night, before I heard anything from my twin. And it was really odd, because I just immediately obviously thought of him because it looked like him, and then it was weird because what was being said was such a powerful message to me. Like, I was like, I felt it right there. I was like, this is a message. This is, you know, the divine masculine in general, not just my twin, but they are really, really, really in need of a bit of reassurance, in need of a bit of love, and in need of them being able to love themselves. But they need someone else to kind of believe in them to help facilitate that, really. I mean, it's not like they need it, and if they don't get it, they're not gonna have that. But, you know, we're all in this together, and we all exist because of each other, in the sense that if there was no other point of reference, if there was no other, there would be no us either. So in that sense, that's how much power we have. So you might as well, my whole message today is like, you might as well use your power for the force of something positive, because it will help you ultimately as well, rather than just sitting there holding on to old resentments, old hurts, and sometimes I understand you can't just let go of those things easily, but the more you listen to things like this, the more it's going to help you have the awareness, which will help you to move on. So in this picture, it looked like the energy was swirling around the caricature, and it was also raining, and rain is interesting for me as well, but I'll save that for another day. The cat in the picture was inspired by my friend's the cat that lives in the flat of my friend as well, and all the 3 cats looked the same, and it was like it was the same cat that was kind of beyond space and time to me. That's what it was. And it's also, I also got that the cat was what I saw was the cat was it was a representation to me of the higher selves and the union energy of both the counterparts, and obviously the third energy, the union energy of the pair, of the twins, and of that set of twins. And then there was the divine masculine in his lowest, in his not lower self, but in the 3D self as well, the physical self. So that was really, really nice. Very, very powerful messages that I got from that card. So sticking with the cats again, for me, I've always been amazed at how cats can receive love with just so much grace. Maybe it's just the cats that I've met. Maybe it's just, maybe cats like me, I don't know. But literally, I find you can just pick them up and cuddle them. They're so cuddly, and they just sit there and they take it. Mine certainly does. He literally gets smothered with cuddles daily, and he just takes it. And I'm like, that's just wonderful. I'm so thankful that he literally sits there and just lets me do that. It's just so lovely. And they're so receptive, and they are so perceptive. They're so sensitive. They can feel things, they can see things, they can, you know, sense so much that we can't actually see, or we can't perceive. And so it is with the divine masculine right now. They are really feeling you. They are really, really feeling their counterpart. So it's I'm just really urging you, I just really wanted to urge you guys to feel the love that you have for them and celebrate that. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. Like, let go of all the other stuff. It's just a really small blip in the massive scale of things, and it's almost like I was getting it's like a little bit of spice, and this is, you know, I'm thinking about going back to India again. I went to see my cousin today and we were just chatting about food. All I could talk about was the food at the ashram I was at, because it's amazing. And spicy food, it's literally just a pain response, because we were talking about spicy food versus non-spicy food, and how people in India, obviously they have this great cuisine, but they are addicted to chili. They're addicted to spice, and so many other people just can't take it. It's like a torture for them. But Indian food is still one of the most popular foods in the world, and it's a pain response. So sometimes the pain can be like a little bit of spice, and yes, there was a little bit of hurt, but we need that because it creates a kind of a reference point, and it's kind of like what defines the good. It's what defines the pleasant stuff. Is kind of it's only perceptible because of things that are maybe a little bit unpleasant, a little bit of drama, a little bit of pain. I'm not saying that it's good. I'm very much at a stage where I'm very much like, yep, I will be leaving the drama, I'll be leaving the pain, I'm not choosing it anymore, but I respect it for what it is. So I accept it as well for what it is. So I'm just urging you right now with this message to feel the love that you have for your counterpart. Focus on that, and know that this life is just too short to be all about the hate, to be all about the entitlement, to be all about kind of anything other than that, really. So there's a ton of guidance out there for the Divine Masculine, and it's really pushing them to get on the path. That's another massive message that I'm getting right now. And you just loving them, just, you don't even need to consciously send it, just be it, just feel it within yourself, just celebrate it within yourself, and that's going to be a massive help for them. And you don't need to tell them anything or do anything with the words, like nothing. Just by your state of being is how you're going to create so much transformation for themselves, and for them, and also for yourselves. So that's all I wanted to say. Important stuff, quite powerful stuff as well. I hope you enjoyed it, and I love you guys so much. I will be back with a reading today, but I will be back with more messages when I get back from my holiday. Loads of love to you all. Bye.